What's up guys, it's Avery here. Let's talk about some side hustle money, and specifically a typical side hustle like Uber, where you might earn an extra $5 an hour when you're thinking about gas costs and wear and tear on your car. And you can never turn that side hustle into something that is not active. And maybe with that extra $5 an hour, you can find yourself buying a bunch of extra McChickens. But what if you could graduate from that dollar menu and maybe buy yourself some McMansions or McHouses or McInvestment properties, which are my favorite. So instead of thinking small and thinking active and thinking right away, maybe you can catapult yourselves and think a little bit bigger and create yourself a side hustle that can buy you those things that'll set yourself up for a path of building wealth and financial freedom. Before we talk about any of the side hustles that I want to get into today, I wanted to discuss two things that people fall into a trap of before they start any side hustle out there. And that first thing would be becoming an entrepreneur. And that sounds very cool to many of us. We can work for ourselves, set our own hours, and do anything we want. But just because you can become an entrepreneur and quit your job doesn't mean that you necessarily should. Sometimes it makes sense for you to get that active corporate job so you can get your health insurance, get all of your benefits, have that active salary, and then use that time outside of those 40 hours of work to work on your side hustle. And then when you feel like you can quit your active job after 5 years instead of 40 years like the typical person, then you can take that side hustle to a full-time job and become a full-on entrepreneur then. But there's no point in just quitting your job and saying you want to dive right into something, in my opinion, when you don't have to. The other thing that I want people to think about is the amount of input that you're putting in for the amount of output that you get for that specific side hustle. So AKA the amount of time and effort you're putting in for how much money that you're actually receiving. Just because you're putting in work and doing stuff doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good side hustle. So it's important to think about how active that side hustle is that you're starting and how passive you potentially could make it later on down the road, or if it will always be something active. So I often see on TikTok or on Instagram Reels, people promoting all of these different types of side hustles, and they're almost an infinite amount. And one that I saw recently seemed like the most stupid thing that I've ever seen, but you could probably make a lot of money. Essentially, the person went to TJ Maxx, took out their phone and looked on Amazon how much they could sell every specific item in the store for, and then bought some items that looked like they could make some profit and then sold them on their Amazon store. Now in the TikTok, it took about 30 seconds and they just scanned that first item that they saw, and then they went through their app, saw they could make $50 profit, bought it. But essentially, in reality, in this specific example for this side hustle, you'd probably go to the store, go through every single item, type it into your phone, see how much profit you could make until you've maybe found one item. And maybe then once you found that one item, there are 3 of them specifically at that store, you buy all 3 and then you take them home and then hopefully you sell them. You might not sell them right away. So this is extremely active, and you could never take it from you doing all the work to you not doing any work unless you hire a bunch of people to do it for you. And at that point, you might as well have spent your effort doing something else. I think it's important for people to think about the difference between grinding and putting in good work. Just because you're running and working hard or driving somewhere for 2 hours there and back, it feels like you're doing a lot of work, but it might not be efficient, or it might not be where you should put your most amount of time. You might be able to overwork yourself and seem like you're working hard, but you're not getting a lot of output. Think about someone who does sales. They put a lot of work in for 2 to 3 years, build that book of business, and thereafter they're able to re-up with those specific people so that they're continuing to buy their products every year and they can continue to get commissions on those sales. Instead, some people are starting side hustles like Uber, where you're just getting that same amount of money every single ride that you make, and you're never going to get more. You always have to put in that work all the time. So think about the side hustle that you're starting, the amount of work that you have to put in now, the amount of work that you have to put in later, and the amount of money that you're actually gonna make, and maybe it's worth it for you to not get any money for the first 6 months. The first side hustle that I wanna talk about would be renting your car out on a specific platform like Turo or GetAround. You essentially can take your car, which is a huge liability and depreciates quite a lot every single year, and instead of paying a monthly balance towards it, you can actually get someone to ride your car and pay you, similar to if you were renting out your apartment, except this way it's a lot lower barrier of entry. Except the only thing when it comes to this type of side hustle is the car that you purchase, the car that you lease, or whatever it is, won't actually ever increase in value. So the thing that you're getting from this car is you're getting monthly cash flow. Now, maybe it's a car that you have because you are just using a car sometimes to drive somewhere on the weekend or go somewhere else from time to time. You don't actually need it during the week. So during the week, you could rent out your car that you're not actually using so that it could cover your monthly payment for that car or potentially make you some money. And in some scenarios, I've seen people have their car on Turo, it gets totaled, and then Turo writes them a check for more than the value of the car. So you could make some money that way, but then your car would be totaled. Other people have taken this a few further steps and they've leased out multiple cars or bought multiple cars and then rented them out and have had a fleet of cars. And while I think this is a good side hustle because you can start at a lower barrier of entry, it is not necessarily the best one because when you buy those cars, they will not increase in value over time. They will only decrease in value, but there is a strong amount of monthly cash flow that you could get for not putting a crazy amount of money into this side hustle. The second side hustle that I want to talk about, and there's many ways to do this, would be building your brand. And this is something that I'm doing right here on YouTube. And if you go back to one of my first 2 points, it's about that delayed gratification. I was not making any money on YouTube for the first 5 months that I was doing it, and I was working really hard, and I still am, and I still am not really making very much money. But you look at someone who started their YouTube channel a few years ago, making absolutely nothing, and then some of those YouTubers today who are making $5,000 to $15,000 on ad revenue and making a ton of other money on referral links and a bunch of other ways for them to make money. So at the beginning, it seems like nothing is happening, but eventually if you take off, you could be doing really well and make yourself millions of dollars every single year from building your brand. And you don't just have to build your brand on YouTube, you can find yourself doing it on Instagram and having referral links and other affiliate marketing on your Instagram account. If you look at some of the first Instagram accounts like Earth Pictures, they just have pictures of Earth and they have millions of followers, and now they're making money on multiple of their posts through links that they have in their descriptions, in their bios, and whatever. So once you've built your brand, there's multiple ways for you to start then selling yourself various different products, affiliate marketing, ads, or maybe you want to sell some merchandise and t-shirts because people love everything that you're doing, hopefully coming soon on my channel. The third thing that I want to talk about would be business referrals. And this is a really simple thing that you can do and something that I've set up over the past couple of years. Essentially, you can make a relationship with a small business or with a contractor or with whatever type of person it is that is selling some type of product or service, and anytime that you bring them a customer, you can get some type of referral fee. Whether it be a flat fee or some type of percentage, you can make some money every time you're bringing a customer to that specific vendor. And I've set this up with a couple of different businesses that I've met throughout my real estate investing career. I've been able to network a ton and use a ton of contractors and different vendors. And now when I send them business, they will pay me some money. Some are 5 to 10% of the job, and some are all the way up to $1,000. So it can really be a pretty lucrative side hustle for me where I'm not doing a crazy amount of work. When I'm continuing to network and people are looking for various people that they need help with, like an accountant, like a lender, like a roofer, I can send them their way and then make a little bit of money if they end up using their services. Another side hustle that I want to talk about would be personal coaching or consulting. And this is something that I do with my personal finance coaching or real estate investing coaching, but it's something that you could do with any type of skill that you have. And it could be the type of skill that you have with your specific job. Maybe you're good at woodworking, maybe you're a data analyst so you can do consulting services for a different company outside of work hours. There's really an endless amount of things that you can teach people to do, and there's an endless amount of people who are interested in those services. So if you can market yourself and get people towards your website or towards your Instagram account or whatever it is, so that more people are interested in you, they would be interested in working with you or learning about your services so that they could potentially do the same. The great thing about this is you would also be able to learn a skill and then sell that skill to other people and help them out in the same way. For example, for me, I was not good at real estate investing 2 years ago, but now I've bought 3 properties in the last 2 years, and I feel like I know a thing or two and I could help people out a little bit, so that's why I'm doing the YouTube channel. But if they want more one-on-one help, I am able to offer those services as well and help them along their journey towards financial freedom and becoming a good real estate investor. The last side hustle that I want to talk about, and something that brings me in $1,600 a month in income and has increased my net worth over $400,000, would be investing in real estate. I think investing in real estate is the most powerful thing that you can do. And yes, I do it on the side. I still have a job that fuels my real estate investing habit, and it is what allows me to get these loans and buy these houses and have enough money for the down payments while still living very cheaply and building my wealth all at the same time. I think real estate investing is an extremely powerful tool, and 90% of people who have become millionaires have done so through investing in real estate. Real estate has so many powers, and if you want to learn more about those, check it out up here or in the description below, where I talk about all of the awesome benefits for investing in real estate. And the thing that I've done that has catapulted me forward to having such a high net worth in such a short period of time and getting this cash flow per month would be something called house hacking. And if you want to learn more about that, check it out up here or in the description below. But essentially, I have bought small 2 to 4 unit multifamily buildings, lived in them for a year, and then been able to do that because you have a low down payment at 3.5% instead of 25%, and then you rent out the other units and the other rooms, and that will cover your mortgage and your expenses if you've done it right. And then you can move out after 1 year and then have a full-on investment property that brings you this $1,600 a month in passive monthly income, which is absolutely awesome. And not only at the same time, like I said, I have that cash flow, but my properties have increased in value a cumulative $400,000 in the last 2 years, which is absolutely insane. Now you might be thinking that 3.5% down is a lot of money for the market that I am currently living in. And that's true, it can be. My first property was an $18,000 down payment, and my second property was a $24,000 down payment. So that $18,000 was definitely a lot harder to save than the $24,000, because when I bought that first property, I was living rent-free, so that $1,100 a month that I was paying before for rent was then going towards saving for that next down payment. So it really helped catapult me forward into the next property, but that first property was definitely the hardest. And now there's another way that you can get started in investing in real estate that wouldn't be you using your money and having a property yourself, but you could do something like wholesaling or finding deals for other real estate investors and then taking a small stake of equity. Finding deals is one of the most difficult parts of real estate investing. Once people know what they're doing, they're able to acquire money, they understand how contractors work, they can do renovations, they know budgets, they know everything about what they're doing, but they need to actually get that deal before they can utilize that knowledge. And finding deals can be difficult, but they don't want to do the grunt work necessarily. I personally don't think it's the most fun. I've done a lot of cold calling in real estate, and it's not the most fun thing that you could ever do. But if you're just getting started, you have no money, you could potentially network with other real estate investors, get to know them, and then find deals for them. And once you've been able to find a deal for them, you can bring it to them, and they can either pay you a fee for that building that you found them, or you can get a 5 to 10%, a small stake of equity in that building, while they teach you absolutely everything they know about real estate, so that you can be the one who eventually knows how to work with contractors, how to work a building, how to manage it, how to do everything there is involved in investing in real estate. So there are a million side hustles, and if you're going on the internet and looking at other personal finance YouTubers or various TikTok accounts, they're going to be pushing all of these different types of side hustles where you can say you can make $150 in 5 minutes, and all you have to do is get your blood drawn while you're taking a multiple choice test. And you're thinking, what the heck is this? And then now when you go on there and actually think that you can make some money, there's all of these requirements, like you need to have purple hair and you have to be 33 and a half, and it doesn't actually make sense. So when you're thinking about what side hustle you want to start, make sure you think about input for output and do your research before you actually go all in. And once you've decided to go all in on one specific type of side hustle, make sure that you stay focused. Personally, for me, this can be kind of difficult. I'm always looking elsewhere and thinking about where else I can make money. But instead, maybe you can hone in on one thing that you've gotten good at and continue to get good at it and continue to make it bigger and bigger so that it is a really lucrative side hustle for you. So keep those blinders on, stay focused on that one thing, stay focused on that one side hustle that is working for you. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share with your friends so more people get some ideas of what side hustle that they could start. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys next time.